Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Anna and I'm a little bit spooky, and today we're playing with the Making Mauves palette because I've been saying I wanted to play with this and just haven't. So yeah, I tried to get as much drama out of it as I could today, and short of just going in completely with the darkest shade, this is about as dramatic as she gets. So here we are, but I do think this is a good little everyday palette. And I also tested out a few new things from the drugstore, namely the Age Perfect 4-in-1 Tinted Balm. We give that a go. And I also try out the Stick It Nyx Brow Gel. We got a new bronzer from, from number 7 here I'm testing out. And yeah, we're just creating a nice cool tone look here. We're going to use some old favorites as well. And spend some time together. So if that interests you, just go ahead, keep on watching. But before you do, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know some more looks you would like to see, some more drugstore products you would like me to review and check out. I am down, especially in that foundation concealer range. I love it. So yeah, let me know down below. And without further ado, let's get into this look. Okay, hello. All right, let's get started on this look. Coffee. I don't know why I'm so drowsy. Could be because I went to sleep at like 3 in the morning and woke up at 9. Might be. Anyways, we got coffee today. And we're going to play with the Making Mauves palette from Colourpop because, dear God, I think I've used this palette one time since I've got it. I've had it over a year now. And I need to utilize it. I feel the need to use it and just play with it. So I'm thinking I'm going to try to do something a little bit dramatic with it and see kind of what I can get out of this palette and go for some nice wintry cool vibes because it is super cold here. So we're definitely going to be dipping into this dark purple, but I don't want this to be super duper just cold, cool tone washed out. So I'm going to use this shade, but I'm going to dip into some of these others that have a little bit of warmth in them. And yeah, see what kind of look we can create with this. This is a really pretty palette, and I'm going for kind of a lavender honey vibe. I have a lippy right here called Lavender Honey that I think is the one that I want to use today. This is from L'Oreal, and it is just a beautiful shade, and I just love the name of it, called Lavender Honey. But I also have a couple of other lippies here that I just kind of want to swatch and see what they look like layered and over top and kind of just play around and see what happens. Like I got two Wet n Wild, I got a Luxe Colourpop here. I just kind of want to see what looks good with it. Right now I have Lifter Gloss on and Moon because my lips are dry. Everything is dry right now. And I also have a few new things in the drugstore to play with. I have a new brow product from NYX. This is the Stick It Brow Gel. So we're giving that a go. I've got a new foundation from Loreal Age Perfect. This is the 4-in-1 Tinted Balm. So we're going to give that a go. And I have the concealer also, which is now in my proper shade, this is something I've had before and have enjoyed. So yeah, we're going to test that out. And I also have a new bronzer from number 7 we're going to try out. And I picked it up because it looks just like a Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. And I want to give it a go. So yeah, that is what we're going to play with today. And also throw in some old favorites. Getting started on eyes, I have primed my eyes already. And I have also already primed my skin with some Flawless Filter. A bit of the Magic Perfecting Base from L'Oreal. And I've done all my skincare. I've kind of loosely sketched out some brow, give that a little bit of frame. I prime my eyes with the NARS eyeshadow primer and then put a little bit of the concealer, just kind of blend things out a bit. But I haven't put any powder on the lids. I'm going to grab a fluffy brush and go into the shade called Solitaire. My goodness, it's hard to read because it's really pale font on a really pale background. Well, it's white font on a really pale background. But it is this shade right here. I guess I can show you the palette right side up since there's no mirror. It's this shade right here at the top. And I'm going to take that through the transition. But yeah, I said when I was decluttering or shopping my stash that this palette needs to get some use. And here we are. Apparently I'm not the only person that's done this with this palette. So hopefully this gives you guys some inspiration. That is a really nice shade. Like there's a nice warmth in it so it doesn't feel so washed out. Socket line over here in transition. Really blow this shade out a bit. Because it is soft, I can kind of get away with really blending it out. I'm really excited because I just redid my whole like vanity setup. That will be in a vlog, or has been in a vlog I'll link it in the eye, but I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I just feel so, it just feels nicer and much more. I'm trying to look in a mirror that doesn't exist. It just feels so much cleaner on my setup and organized and easy. I'm gonna take that lightest shade called R&R right here, and I'm just gonna run that like right under the brow, just above that socket. Just give it a bit of a cohesiveness. There we go. Just a nice flow. This is a pretty like everyday kind of palette, really. Like if you just want to use these mattes, that looks pretty nice. Pretty nice. Okay, let's start to deepen things up a bit. The thing is, there's so much fallout and kick up with the Colourpop eyeshadows, but the pigmentation is so good and they perform so well that I really don't mind. Kick up and fallout isn't something that is a deal breaker for me by any means. Okay, so let's try going into Tongue Tied right here. This has some micro glitter in it, and it appears to be kind of bluey purple. Yeah, purple and kind of iridescent, maybe silvery micro glitters. The micro glitters don't matter. They really don't do anything on the eye unless you like really stamp them on. So we're just going to treat this like a matte as usual, and I'm going to jump over to a more of a concentrated brush. This is a Morphe Firm Blender. Dip into that, tap off the excess. You see how much comes off? It just feels a little wasteful. That's my only complaint. I'm going to start to build that on the outer corner. And kind of into the crease and see if that's adding some depth. That shade's actually, I think, lighter than the shade we went in with. So I don't think, yeah, that's not really adding any depth, is it? I'm dumb. Disregard that step. Let's try to build some more depth with that previous shade, Solitaire. Right into the socket. That's the only thing, is I want a little bit more oomph from a palette, a little more depth than what this palette gives me. But I do like these colors. They're very soft and good for, you know, just everyday, like, work appropriate, I think. I'm a bit more dramatic with my eye looks. So let's try pulling in some of that darkest shade, which is called a Marquee. Right here is the deepest, very cool purple. And we'll try putting that right out here in the outer corner, see what it does. Yeah, okay, that's giving a little bit of depth. It's just a bit softer than, you know, my vibes. But I don't hate it. Like, this palette does have its place. Yeah, it's just much more of a like softer contoured look with this palette that you're gonna get, rather than in your face, like purpley shades or mauves. It's a really good cool tone palette. I don't know if it's still available, but I do know a lot of people picked it up. I don't know, I guess need some inspiration. I just want to play with it because I wanted to create some kind of wintry and cool toned, and just want to see what it does. So I'm really just building that up on that outer corner and going into the socket a little bit. And just coming around to the socket. Alright, let's go back to blending brush and Solitaire. Kind of add a little bit more in there. Alright, now I'm going to jump over to an even smaller, more dense brush. I don't know if it's necessarily more dense, it's just smaller. It's a Precision Firm Blender. It's more of that deepest shade. Try and pack that right out here. Alright, that's looking nice. I just feel like it's a little washed out, but I don't hate it. It's a nice, soft, everyday kind of eyeshadow look that we're getting here. If you wanted to go more into the cooler shades, you could go in with these two and really make this very, very cool toned. Very mauvey. I kind of like the balance of having that bit of warmth from these shades in there. Just, it, to me, makes it a little bit more wearable. And you still get the effect of it being a cool tone predominantly look. It just kind of helps it flow a little better into my skin tone, personally. I just feel like it's just a little more flattering. If I go straight, like, super cool mauve, I can look a little sickly. Alright. I'm going to take a little bit more of this shade Marquee. I'm going to bring that right in this inner corner, in the inner part of the lid. I'm going to do a little bit of a halo effect with it, just because that gives a little more interest. Oh, that looks kind of cool. We're getting somewhere. I'll grab a little flat brush, and I'm going to take the shade called Mauve on Top. Mauve on Top? Mauve on Top? I don't know. However you want to say it. But it's this one right here. It's kind of a pinky, pink to mauve, a little bit hint of rose gold in there. With this one, it's just kind of shifty, pretty. It's a Super Shock shade. This one is very, very pink, not so much mauve to me. This is very pinky purple. It's just a bit, I don't know, too vibrant. I don't like that shade very much. I don't know why. But yeah, this one is a Super Shock, I do believe. Yeah, I think that is a Super Shock shade. I can't tell. Yeah, that's just a really soft shimmer. But it's quite a pretty tone. So I'm going to take that onto the lid. Oh, that's pretty. That is pretty. Yeah, it has a bit of a rose gold in it. A bit of warmth. It's not just in your face cold. I think that is a Super Shock formula. It's maybe a drier one. Mine's gotten a bit dry. That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty. This is a pretty everyday palette for sure. It's got a really nice sheen to it and shine and sparkle. There's like a bit of silver sparkles in there and also a bit of like maybe a warmer mauve base, where then the cool leaning more lavender, grayed out mauve. Alright, and then we can take this lightest shade in the palette, shimmer called Bankester. Yeah, this is just a regular shimmer, not a Super Shock. So we're going to take that just on the center of the lid here. Just boop, boop. Pop a bit of that, and that gives a bit of an icier shine in the middle. That's pretty. Yeah, that actually looks nice. Maybe we can take a little bit of that pinky shade and pop it like right in between on this outer part, just to see what it does. Let's take it on my finger here. Yeah, this is a Super Shock formula. You can see right there. That's what it looks like. Let's try to pat out just a little bit of it right here, just to incorporate it. Just so we can say we did. Yeah, it's just a bit more of a pinky tone to it. Nothing too groundbreaking. It definitely has its place in the palette. It's just not my favorite shade. That gives a little bit of a kind of a different little shift in there. Alright, I'm going to touch up that darkest purple. And kind of marry that all together. What is speck right there on me? Yeah, I kind of like adding that little bit of that middle shade in. Just gave a bit of a, almost makes it look like a duochrome shift in there. Sneaky. Sneaky little shift. Alright, and then on the inner corner, I'm going to take a little bit with the little flat brush of that lightest shade. And pop it right into here. Just pop right there. And we'll do just a kiss of it right there. Alright, nice. Okay, I think we could use a little bit of liner or something to add some depth in at the lash line, because this little darkest shade's not going to give me enough oomph at the lash line. So I think I'm going to take kind of a plummy purple liner. I think that would be nice with this. Let me grab my eyeliners here and see what we got. Okay, I got this one from NYX here. This is a kind of a plummy shade. This is in the shade Jewel. And it's a slide on, glide on, stay on, whatever. And it is in shade right here. I think that would look good with this. So let's give this a little bit of a sharpen. I hid my pencil sharpener from myself. I try to use this kind of define the upper lash line, and maybe we can stamp a bit of that darkest eyeshadow over top. And just see what happens. So let's pop a little bit of this on and see if it gives any definition. A little bit. I don't feel like it's dark enough. But here we are. Yeah, let's take a liner brush and take a little bit of Marquee and kind of stamp that over. I just want a little more darkness right at the lash line, but I don't want black. or brown. I want to kind of stay in this color family. Right. We do that on the other side, and we'll, yeah, that's adding a good bit of nice depth in there. I'm just really kind of stamping it in. One. Right. It's a very soft look, but I don't hate it. I think it's kind of pretty. I'm going to clean up a little bit of fallout I have just a touch from doing that liner. I'm going to tidy that up and then we'll be back to try out a new foundation really quick and see how that goes. Just kind of a short little first impression. As I said, I have already primed my face or my skin with the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base, and I've put on some Flawless Filter on the high points and kind of blended it in. So let's take this Age Perfect 4-in-1 Tinted Balm. If you use a firming serum, I have this in the fair pale shade, and I'm thinking this is something similar to the Good Apple. I have stippled my brush in, but it is, let me make sure my fingers don't have any eyeshadow on it. But this is a very balmy feeling product. It's kind of cooling and melty. Like it just kind of melts with your heat of your skin, and it's really, really lovely feeling. No smell, and I'm not sure what the coverage level is, but you know, I think it should have some decent coverage. But it's supposed to like blur lines, and let's see, it has 4 claims here on the back. Skin looks firmer, smooths lines, conceals imperfections, evens tone. So yeah, let's give this a go. I think I'm going to try it with a brush today and see how it performs. I'm going to use my e.l.f. foundation buffing brush. This is another one I really like. So I'm just going to kind of tap in. And I feel like it picks up a decent amount of product. So I'm going to kind of take the excess off on my hand just to make sure I don't over apply, and kind of start to buff this in and see how it does. But I'm thinking this is similar to the Good Apple foundation from KVD. Like, did we find a drugstore dupe? I don't know, because I haven't used the KVD one. I don't think the coverage level is the same of this. This doesn't appear to be like full coverage. I think this is a more light and buildable coverage. But I don't know, I'm not applying a ton either. So, but it seems to buff on really easily with a buffing brush. It can really disappear into the skin. I mean, it looks good. The skin looks really nice. The shade's a bit odd because it's kind of dark seeming, but then on the skin it doesn't really look that dark. It looks very glowy. And like I said, this is going over Flawless Filter, so that is probably adding to it. But this isn't a review. I'm just kind of testing, trying it out for the first time today. We will have a full review and wear test of this in the coming days once I get a bit of a more firm opinion on it and see how I like it applied. But I walked past the L'Oreal counter and saw this and I was like, oh, hey, a balm. Well, that sounds a lot like another product I know. I think L'Oreal does really good foundations, by the way. Like, I've really liked a lot of them that I have tried lately. I love the Age Perfect serum foundation, so I'm curious to see if I will really love this one as well. So far, I think this looks really good on the skin. It isn't a super high coverage, but it does even out, and that's kind of what it claims to do. It doesn't claim to have full coverage, I don't believe. But I think the coverage level is nice. My skin does look very much evened out. And it just feels like it just melts. And it doesn't feel super sticky. I mean, it does feel a little balmy on the skin, a little tacky, so you definitely, I think, would want to set this down. But it doesn't feel gross. It doesn't feel sticky. So a little more coverage around the nose and the cheek here, and chin. It is just buffing in so easily and kind of stamping it. So I think the shade might just be a hair too deep for me. I mean, just a hair, but I mean, I'm not that worried about it. My skin does look quite smooth, and like firm and plump and juicy. Like that. It's definitely not a matte finish. Look in the mirror up close here, make sure we're good and blended in. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, this is pretty on the skin. I don't know if everybody would like this because I don't think it's going to be something that's friendly towards oily skin. But just for my initial application here, I do like the way it's sitting. It doesn't look makeup-y. It just looks pretty skin-like, a little dewy. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, very glowy, very pretty. I think it's sitting really nicely on the skin. It looks very smooth. I'm not seeing it emphasizing texture or pores or anything like that. It's not picking up on my dry patches really. So that is good because I have got some serious dryness going right there where I had a breakout. So yeah, that's nice. Okay. Again, I don't know how it wears or anything. This is truly just my first time putting it on my skin. I don't think it's going to be a dupe for the Good Apple, maybe in its application style and kind of feel of the product, but coverage-wise, I think the Good Apple's like way more coverage than what this will give you. But this is a really nice, just kind of pretty look on the skin. This gives you a healthy, juicy skin, so I like that. Let's go in with the Radiant Concealer from Age Perfect. I finally got this in my proper shade. I've only had my summer shade previously. So I'll pop a little bit of this on. I know I already like this concealer. So put a little bit down the nose. Right here. And on the chin. That feels like kind of a more of a low maintenance, just quick, easy type of foundation. Which I like those kind of foundations for like day to day when I just want to get out the door and not trying to mess around with a ton of product and be super precious with it. That's the kind of foundation I like. I like something very fast and easy that I just kind of don't have to think too hard about when I'm applying it. Oh, that concealer is so pretty. That is one of the prettiest concealers. Again, it's not a full coverage concealer either, but it is enough coverage to me, for me and my needs, and I think it looks really, really pretty. It has almost a soft focus look about it and luminosity. I just think it's a gorgeous product. Like, I think my skin looks so nice when I use this concealer. That's why I picked it up in my lighter shade because I missed it. It's definitely glowy and kind of dewy looking, very youthful, fresh skin vibes. And I kind of think it might have skincare in it. I can't remember. But yeah, this is the lightest shade of this. That's one of the things I feel like the shade range of the Age Perfect stuff could go a lot lighter. And I don't think it runs deep enough either. It's just kind of odd. Even though nothing in it's like super full coverage. It's just, I feel like it needs a little more nuance in the shade range. That looks so nice. Yeah, the skin looks great. I really need to pick the powder up now. That looks really good. It doesn't look makeup-y, but it looks very juicy, healthy. It looks like I used a lot of nice skincare. I mean, I did, but that was hours and hours and hours ago. So yeah. All right, I'm going to set down my face a bit with my number 7. Triple Action Lift and Illuminate. This is just kind of my go-to powder, a favorite. And I didn't pick up the Age Perfect powder because I think it's quite similar to this from what I've heard. So I was like, I don't need that too. I don't need another powder. I'm trying to pan powders and get rid of them. I don't want to bring more into the collection. But yeah, I think I like that foundation though with a brush. I'm going to try it with a sponge though one day and see how that goes. And yeah, I'll just kind of test it out and see. And I will have a review coming soon of that and how it performs. Alright, let's pop a little bit of this powder on. I want to see how the powder sits over it. This Lift and Illuminate powder is something else. It's definitely one of the best drugstore powders. Very much a Charlotte Tilbury dupe. I like it because it's not flat. Like, you can still see that luminosity coming through the powder. but things are getting nice and set down. I guess I should have picked up the powder. I don't know why I didn't. I might pick it up next time I go to the store. I think one of the selling points of the Age Perfect stuff is that it's just kind of easy. And you don't have to fuss with it. Let's do that lower lash line real quick. I'm not going to do anything super groundbreaking or unique on the lower lash line. I'm just probably going to go in with this same shades I used on the lid. And it will be probably just this shade right here and this shade and a bit of one of these, probably this lightest shimmer on the inner corner. So yeah, I'm going to speed through that real quick because it's not that exciting. It's not going to be anything impressive. There we go, that looks nice. Alright, I'm going to take the darkest shade. Okay, and we'll take that lightest shimmer. Alright, so let's test out this bronzer from number 7. I think number 7, it makes some really lovely products. Like, that looks nice. This looks so high-end. So yeah, let's give this a go. This is a really nice shade for me in this winter. This is Golden Sand from Nottingham, England. Hey, my family is from Nottingham. Cool. Alright, let's do a little bit of a bronze. That is so subtle, but so nice. This might be the perfect pale girl bronzer right here. Like, very pale girl bronzer. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Like, it shows just enough warmth. This is truly just adding that nice kiss of warmth to the skin. Okay, cool. Yeah, this was something I actually needed in my collection. You know, it's not sculpting. It's giving you just a kiss of sun-kiss look without looking orange or over the top. That's really pretty. And yeah, if you are my skin tone or lighter, this is the bronzer for you. Definitely check this out from number 7. This is Golden Sands. Very impressed. Just right off the bat. Impressed. I'm gonna take a little bit of it. It's smooth. It looks so pretty on the skin and just so subtle, but the right kind of subtle. I'm just gonna take a little bit right here around the eyeshadow. I don't feel like this is giving you that bronzer look. This is truly a sun-kissed type product. Very, very pretty. Cool. That is nice. I'm going to do just a touch of sculpt in because I feel like I need a little bit of sculpt. So I'm going to take a bit of my Charlotte Tilbury here, Film Star Bronze and Glow, and take a touch of the bronzer in this and just give a little bit of definition right here. And I just picked this up on a whim. I just saw it sitting there. I was like, I don't think I've tried that. Let's give that a go. Very pretty. Very pretty. Very just soft kiss of warmth. Love it. Alright, let's move on to kind of a highlighty glow product. This is the Melt Cosmetics Digital Dust Blush in Raw Honey. I thought these colors would kind of go nicely with this look because it's got a bit of that coolness in there and the warmth. And I'm thinking I'm going to focus more on this side as more of a highlight product, but this isn't one that I prefer to, or I like to wear just as a straight highlight. I kind of like to use this one blending into being like a blush topper situation. So I'm going to clean my little brush off here. I'm going to go focus into this one and just apply it kind of high on the cheeks. This has a little bit of a kiss of pink in it. And it can double as my highlighter as well, without having a separate highlighter. There you go. Yeah, this definitely has a bit of a blush to it. So, all right, I'm gonna take a bit of the Milani right here. This is the Nude Kiss. I'll pop a little bit of that on. I think that looks good with this eye look. Kind of warms it up a bit. Now I'm going to pop on some mascara and curl my lashes really quickly, and then I'm going to go in with some Lashy Doll from Lancome and touch my brows up. Cool, that looks nice. I think everything is looking really good so far. I have a little bit of settling or like creasing right here, but I have a pretty pronounced crease right there. Obviously, you can see that. That's the only place I'm seeing any weirdness. Like my chin looks good, and my chin's usually kind of my trouble area. The forehead looks good. Yeah, I think the foundation is sitting nicely so far. So yeah, let's go on to this new NYX Thick Stick It Brow product here. This is a thickening brow mascara. I have used this a couple times. I have the shade black. I did not mean to buy black. I meant to buy espresso, but whatever. So basically I just use this with a very light hand, take all the excess product off, which I would recommend you do. This it has like little fibers in it, I believe. But yeah, definitely take some of this excess off because way too much comes off on the little brush. But yeah, it does look like it has like a little fuzzies in here. Alright, and what I'm going to do is take this very lightly through the brow, just grazing it through and not trying to hit the skin with it because it is just a bit much if you do that. It can look kind of splotchy. But look at that, like just lightly grazing it through the brows. It brushes them into place so well and gives you a bit of that soap brow effect. And this has way better hold to it, to me, than the brow glue that NYX made. I hated that stuff. I feel like it never dried down. This dries down and kind of sets into place, but you still have that little bit of moldability with it, kind of like with soap brows. Like it's just right. And it gives your brow hairs great definition. And it does make them look thicker and fuller and fluffy. But yeah, I just definitely recommend clean off your brush before you go in. And yeah, that's like the black brow mascara. It looks pretty good on me. And I don't have black hair. I have dark brown and blonde in the front. Just kind of wiggle it right in here. Get all the little baby hairs. I try to kind of catch all those little small hairs. But you gotta really be careful with this because it can make a mess. You see that little splotch? So you definitely want to use a little restraint with this one. Don't just go slapping it in. But it's a pretty nice product. So far, I'm liking it. And I'm very picky about brow gels. So that says something. I mean, I'm very picky with brow gels. I hate most of them. I like 24-hour brow setter. And that's about it. And soap brows, like straight up bar soap. So to finally find a nice tinted one that I like, heck yeah. The other tinted one that I enjoyed in the past was the Rimmel Wonder Brow 24-hour brow. That one was great. It had great hold and pigmentation. I don't know if they still make it though, but this reminds me of it. And once you get the brush good and cleaned off, you can really get in there and kind of sculpt your brows and wiggle them into shape. But you get that nice kind of stiffness with this, where the brows just feel very molded and kind of laminated. And I feel like you can kind of push them down and get that laminated effect without it smearing. So that is nice too. I was kind of worried about that with this being like a pigmented product, that it would smear if I tried to like press them down, but no, it does really well. You still can get that nice laminated brow. Alright, I like that. I like that, especially because I don't always want to touch my brows up, like as far as tinting them. They fade so fast. That's a nice kind of in between product for days when I don't want my brows. I don't want full tinting my brows. I'm too lazy. Okay, now I'm going to take my Lift and Snatch here from NYX as well. And go ahead and draw in some little hair-like strokes just to fill in the gaps. This is in ash brown. I think that using brow products in various shades, but similar shades, like all ashy shades or whatever, can create a very realistic looking brow. You just don't want the shades to be too far off from one another, but you know, in the same kind of family. Like just a difference in depth level can really give you a nice looking brow with some realisticness to it. Alright, lips. I think I am definitely going to go in with Lavender Honey from L'Oreal. We're having a L'Oreal Colourpop day with a big NYX thrown in. Mostly a very affordable makeup look today. What do we use that was high end? A little bit of Charlotte Tilbury Floss Filter and Bronze and Glow. Oh, and the Melt highlight. Whatever. Just gonna grab a little mauve-y looking lip liner. Alright, that is a very cool tone shade, but it's really pretty. I like it. I need to touch up my foundation around my mouth. Alright, I'm taking my lip liner. I'm gonna blend this in. And this lip liner is a bit of a darker, like mauve shade. It's almost gone. This is Soft Berry from Essence. It's a really nice kind of mauve-y lip liner. And I think I'm going to add just a bit of gloss to kind of liven that lip up a bit. I mean, I like this color, but we're looking a little too washed out. Just for me. So I pulled Petal Poison. Then we have Moon from Maybelline. I have a feeling this is just going to make it a little even more washed out. Oh no, that's pretty. Yeah, so we'll take Petal Poison from Wet n Wild. Okay. Yeah, I think giving the skin the nice little bit warmth definitely makes this look just feel a little more wearable to me, because I don't really like super cool tones on myself. So here is the finished look all together. I think it came out pretty good. I like it. I don't hate it at all. I think that the Making Mauves palette is a nice, good, like, everyday go-to palette. It's just easy. If you're a cool tone fan, it's definitely one that would be a good one to have in your collection, especially if you just want easy makeup and you love mauve tones. But I think this is pretty. It's very wintry, very cold, winterberry vibes. So yeah, this is nice, and I like that the cheeks do have that bit of warmth in it, and I absolutely love the way the skin is looking. Like, yeah, that might be a really good foundation. I'm gonna, of course, do a full review and wear test, like I said, coming up. Probably a couple of weeks, and I'm gonna really test it out and see how it performs. But yeah, I like that. I really like this number 7 bronzer. If you need a bronzer and you are a ghost like me and lighter, this is the one to go for. Again, this is Golden Sand. Definitely check this out, because holy shit, beautiful, just purely sun-kissed for the undead, if that makes sense. But yeah, everything else performed really well. I do like this Stick It NYX Brow Mascara, again with a super light hand. I think it's a really good product. I really like it, and in conjunction with the Lift and Snatch, this is a great duo. So yeah, that is all for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay spooky. Bye now.